In the history of mixed martial arts, there exists a story unlike any other. A time that harks back to the days when MMA had no rules. A true Wild West where fighters were modern-day gladiators. It's the story of a man who showed incredible bravery in the era when combat sports were not for the faint of heart.
People that are real, legitimate fighters, that this right here is weapons of mass destruction that could hurt anybody if it hits your chin.
This is the story of none other than Chuck Liddell, the man who became its unbeatable icon.
Chuck Liddell was so terrifying.
Yeah.
He was this do or die.
In a dimly lit, smoky room at a small karate school in Santa Barbara, California, a young boy named Charles David Liddell began his path toward becoming a legend. He was born on December 17, 1969. Chuck, as he would later be known, was a restless and energetic child. Liddell was raised by his single mother and maternal grandfather, who taught Liddell and his siblings boxing techniques from a very young age.
He would just come at you, just swinging bombs, take one on the chin, knock dudes out.
His mom, a single parent, worked as a bookkeeper to support their family. When Chuck was just 13 years old, he started helping his mom at a bar to make extra money when his younger brother needed open heart surgery. Chuck Liddell's journey into becoming a legendary fighter began when he started learning Koikan karate at the age of 12. In high school, Liddell was a star on the football team, playing as both center and linebacker, and often got into fights with older college students while getting drunk.
He would just come after dudes and smash people.
Chuck Liddell's path to greatness took an unexpected turn when he enrolled at California Polytechnic State University. Initially, he pursued a degree in accounting, a safe and sensible choice, but his heart was elsewhere, on the mat and in the ring. Chuck joined the university's wrestling team, where his athleticism and work ethic quickly made him a standout. Wrestling was his sanctuary, a place where he could unleash his inner drive and aggression, ultimately achieving the remarkable milestone of reaching the Division I level. He holds a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, showing his versatility in various combat sports. It was here that he developed the work ethic that would become his trademark. However, he's most famous for his association with Kempo karate, a style guided by John Hackleman, focusing on practical fighting techniques and intense conditioning. In 1991, he met John Hackleman, who introduced him to The Pit, a unique training facility. This place played a crucial role in developing Chuck's unique Hawaiian Kempo style, characterized by tough, old-school workouts. Chuck Liddell's unwavering commitment to training and his diverse skills made him a legend in the world of mixed martial arts. Upon graduating from college in 1995, Chuck Liddell's fighting career began to take shape. He joined the world of amateur kickboxing and quickly became a force to be reckoned with. He won 22 fights, with 16 of his wins coming by KO or TKO. His striking power and unrelenting aggression earned him a reputation as a fierce competitor.
He was hunting people. He was hunting people, and he was a wrestler that never wrestled.
However, Chuck's true calling was found in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, UFC. Around this time, Chuck also started watching the UFC and became a fan. He got introduced to the UFC through John Lewis, a significant figure in the early days of the sport. In 1998, he made his debut in the octagon, showcasing his unique style that combined wrestling, striking, and a warrior's heart. Chuck's initial opponent was the more seasoned Noah Hernandez, with 5 prior fights under his belt. Their showdown occurred in Dothan, Alabama on May 15th, where they competed for a middleweight championship. Liddell emerged victorious with a decision win. But the next fight for Chuck was one of the toughest he'd ever have. It took place for International Vale Tudo Championship in Brazil. The fight was against Brazilian fighter Jose Pele Landy Johns, which was bare knuckle. Even though many thought he would lose in his opponent's home territory, Liddell showed how skilled he was in striking and won by decision against his Vale Tudo opponent. After a tough loss due to a technical submission from top contender Jeremy Horn, Liddell began a journey to prove himself as a strong contender. He achieved impressive victories against well-known opponents like Kevin Randleman, Murilo Bustamante, Vitor Belfort, Amar Soloov, Jeff Monson, and Renato Sobral. It's important to mention that Liddell also made history as the first UFC fighter to compete in Pride. In a memorable fight here, he faced another kickboxer, Guy Mezger, and knocked him out cold. Chuck's charisma and fighting spirit captured the attention of fans and paved the way for a remarkable journey through the ranks of the UFC. The nickname the Iceman was bestowed upon Chuck Liddell during his rise to prominence in the UFC. It was a fitting moniker for a fighter who remained remarkably composed under pressure, delivering icy cold knockouts to his opponents. His signature mohawk haircut, a symbol of his fierce individuality, only added to his mystique. Chuck Liddell's popularity soared as the #1 contender for the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship when the famous trilogy between Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture began in 2002 at UFC 43. Many thought Randy Couture was past his prime and would easily get defeated by Liddell. However, Couture defied expectations and silenced his critics with a third-round TKO victory. After his defeat to Couture, Liddell entered the 2003 Pride Middleweight Grand Prix, representing the UFC. He won the first round by knocking out Alistair Overeem, but was eliminated by Quentin Rampage Jackson in the next round due to powerful strikes. Upon his return to the UFC, Liddell set his sights on the light heavyweight title, gearing up for a showdown with former champion Tito Ortiz. His rivalry with Tito Ortiz in particular became legendary, drawing thousands of fans to witness their epic clashes in the cage. The highly anticipated clash finally occurred at UFC 47 on April 2, 2004 in Las Vegas, Nevada, following Ortiz's loss of the title to Randy Couture. In the initial round, both fighters cautiously assessed each other, with Liddell throwing punches and a blocked kick, prompting Ortiz to taunt him. After the first round, a heated exchange occurred between the two, culminating in Ortiz pushing referee Big John McCarthy into Liddell. Shortly into the second round, Liddell unleashed a flurry of punches that sent Ortiz to the canvas, resulting in a TKO victory. Although Ortiz claimed Liddell's thumb had hit his eye, temporarily blinding him, their rivalry persisted, with Ortiz vowing to reclaim his title belt. However, it would be 2.5 years before they would face off again. On April 16, 2005 at UFC 52, Liddell faced Randy Couture once more, contending for the light heavyweight title. Later in 2005 and 2006, Liddell indeed redeemed himself with 2 decisive victories over Couture, one of which was a first-round KO at UFC 52. These victories ultimately led him to secure the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship, which he defended successfully in 4 consecutive fights, solidifying his lasting legacy in MMA history. Their rivalry had been further fueled by their roles as coaches on The Ultimate Fighter 1, a reality television show that added to the intensity of their competition. Chuck Liddell achieved the pinnacle of his career when he captured the UFC Light Heavyweight Championship. His journey to the title was a testament to his tenacity and resilience, bouncing back from setbacks and emerging stronger with each fight. As champion, Chuck defended his title in spectacular fashion, cementing his status as one of the greatest fighters in MMA history. In a UFC event that would later be recognized as the most financially successful up to that point, Chuck Liddell had a highly anticipated rematch with Tito Ortiz at UFC 66 on December 30, 2006. Although Ortiz managed to secure a takedown during the fight, Liddell ultimately emerged victorious with a third-round TKO, successfully defending his light heavyweight championship for the 4th time. Notably, it was later disclosed that Liddell had fought with a torn MCL and even dislocated the tendon in the middle finger of his left hand during the contest. At this point, Chuck Liddell's career took a significant downturn.
And then one day, he just stopped working.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then the knockouts came, like Rampage KO'd him, and then other people were KOing him, and then it just got to a point where it's just like one good punch and he would just go out.
In his 5th title defense at UFC 71 in 2007, he faced a devastating defeat at the hands of Quentin Rampage Jackson. Jackson delivered a crushing right hook in the first round that sent Liddell to the canvas, sealing a knockout victory. However, what followed was not just a setback in the octagon, but also a storm of criticism. Liddell faced scrutiny for reportedly being spotted in nightclubs in the lead-up to the fight, a behavior he argued was part of his routine and not out of the ordinary for his pre-fight preparations in Las Vegas. A scheduled showdown between Liddell and Vanderlei Silva at UFC 76 was abruptly canceled, leading Liddell to square off against Keith Jardine instead. Despite a promising start in the main event of UFC 76, where Liddell landed thunderous right hands, Jardine weathered the storm and effectively employed low leg kicks. Liddell suffered a close split decision loss, making the first time in his career that he endured consecutive defeats. He expressed a desire for a rematch and admitted he hadn't taken Jardine seriously. Then, on October 23, 2007, came an announcement that would reignite hope for Liddell's career. He was slated to face Wanderlei Silva at UFC 79. In a thrilling matchup, Liddell secured a unanimous decision victory over Silva, showcasing his striking prowess with harder and more precise punches while executing 2 takedowns later in the fight. Both fighters received Fight of the Night honors for their incredible performance. The epic clash was later hailed as the Fight of the Year at the 2007 World Mixed Martial Arts Awards and marked a triumphant moment in Liddell's MMA journey. However, despite this resurgence, his career would soon take another downturn, marked by 3 consecutive losses to Rashad Evans, Mauricio Shogun Rua, and Rich Franklin in 2008, 2009, and 2010. On July 10, 2009, during the UFC 100 Fan Expo held in Las Vegas, Nevada, Chuck Liddell was granted the esteemed honor of being inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. However, as his career took a challenging turn with 3 consecutive knockout losses, Liddell contemplated his future with the input of his loved ones. Ultimately, on December 29, 2010, at the UFC 125 press conference, Liddell made the heartfelt decision to retire from professional fighting. He also revealed that he would be assuming the role of Vice President of Business Development within the UFC. Emotions ran high as Liddell bid farewell to his fighting career, expressing his gratitude with words of thanks. Most of all, I want to thank my fans and my family. I love this sport, and I'm excited to embark on this new chapter in my life while continuing to promote the best sport in the world, the sport I love, now that I'm retired. As Chuck Liddell hung up his gloves and retired from professional fighting, he left behind a legacy that continues to inspire aspiring fighters and fans alike. His journey from a restless boy in a Santa Barbara dojo to a UFC champion and cultural icon is a testament to the power of passion, dedication, and self-belief. Chuck Liddell's impact on the world of mixed martial arts extended far beyond his fighting career. He became a pop culture icon, making appearances in movies, television shows, and even video games. His larger-than-life personality and genuine love for the sport endeared him to fans worldwide. Chuck Liddell, a once-in-a-lifetime star and world-class athlete, left an indelible mark on the global stage when the UFC was still fighting for legitimacy and television exposure. His journey serves as a powerful reminder that greatness is not a quick accomplishment. Instead, it's the result of unwavering commitment, relentless determination, and a fearless confrontation of adversity. The Iceman cometh, and his legacy is forever engraved in the annals of mixed martial arts history.